Hey, Anthony, I brought in the ABC news clip when we did get fired.
Ooh.
Ties into what we were just talking about, basically, with us looking at everyone talk about us on TV.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about, Dan Rather stepping down and all that, and how everyone killed us when we got fired.
Yes.
Except for Peter Jennings.
Peter Jennings was the nice guy?
I kind of defended Peter Jennings because they had an open mind at ABC when we got fired.
Really?
And then I didn't have the tape. I couldn't give you the example, but we finally found it. Eric found it for us.
Did you listen to it?
I haven't heard it in a while.
Because I'm trying to think maybe you're remembering different, and he's actually bashes it.
No, I remember it was a fair piece. I remember when it was done.
Well, he had experts on there that basically said that I think that society needs people like you and I, Anthony, to push the boundaries.
Of course we do. Of course we're there to push the boundaries. Society needs us, damn it.
Sure.
Do you know how awful it was, by the way? We had come out of Starbucks. It was very rare that all three of us would actually go for a walk after the show, if that never happened.
Yeah.
And I'm walking...
No, that's because we knew. And we were all staying together that day.
We were walking to...
Because we got to... I just want to stop because I know where you're going. I just want to set it up quickly, the reason why we were all together. We went to work that day, the famous day that they finally let us go. They never fired us. Just held us to the stupid contract.
Canceled the show.
They basically attempted to, destroy our radio careers, and they did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. They did a pretty good job with it. But we were in our office that day, and we were starting to get a really bad vibe, and we were sitting around waiting, hoping that someone was going to say something that would have, put our minds at ease.
Yep.
And then we realized, wow, we got to get out of here. We weren't working that day again, obviously, and that's when we started wandering around the city together, which we never do. You're right.
Walking towards your place, and we went into a Starbucks, and I came out, and I'm just standing there with you two, and your phone rings, and it's Bob, and you're like, you're talking, and you're like, uh-oh, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I just moved into New York, and you looked at Anthony, you go, all right, they're canceling the show, and
yeah,
it was just the worst.
It's over, Johnny.
I almost threw up.
Yeah,
I almost threw up. I had a 2-year lease. I was just moved into my apartment, and they canceled the show.
Oh, God.
Do you understand how I hated God? Do you understand how I cursed God? I know people out there with cancer are telling me to go fuck myself, and you're right.
I was in the shower cursing God. Why? Why, God?
I know.
Dog.
Paul Mercurio
Shut up.
just backed over my lease.
A dumb little show fact that'll make the Howard Stern fans very happy today. But we'll just throw it out there.
Yeah.
We found out that we got fired or canceled, what have you, in front of where Howard lives. It was a coincidence.
Oh, right, yeah.
A coincidence. The Starbucks right there. That's where we got the call.
I was so embarrassed, too, because I remember, you guys were walking by, and there I was. And you're like, what are you doing here? I just had my resume out, and I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm just...
Then we took the long walk to my place, and then watched the whole world pretty much trash us, except for ABC. Well, let's listen to this real fast.
Listen.
So, finally this evening from us, bread and circuses. There have always been complaints about entertainment pushing the limits of taste, including the outrageous ways that Romans, the emperors that is, entertained the masses. Entertainers continue to outrage the public. Yesterday, 2 so-called radio shock jocks were fired for orchestrating an obscene stunt in New York's most famous Catholic cathedral. And again, we're asking, when do you cross the line? Here's ABC's Dan Harris.
It's going to be an exciting Opie and Anthony show today.
You know how weird that is to hear part of our radio show on a national news broadcast?
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
You know how surreal that is?
Depressing is another.
Show today.
When radio personalities Opie and Anthony got this couple to have sex, either real or simulated, in New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral.
We're in St. Pat, and the security guy is coming up to us right now. All right. Hey, come on, let them go. They're okay there.
They were doing what they were paid to do. Shock.
It's the kind of stuff, the sensational stuff that people enjoy.
Yeah, I get off knowing people are looking at their radios in their cars and going, Did I just hear that?
The church sex stunt stands out even in today's media marketplace, which many Americans consider a cacophony of crassness.
Uh-oh.
That's our...
Uh-oh. Big word alert.
Wasn't that the promos we used to use? We're a cacophony of... Shut up. Cacophony.
Does that mean to cacophonate?
Cacophonate. I like mine decacophinated. Cacophony. That is like an 1800s word. What the hell are you pulling that out for?
Who the hell?
That's right.
How many people knew what that word meant?
This is an 1800s
When this aired.
It is an 1800s word.
Tell that cacophony I'd like some dinner. You are a cacophony lover.
Cacophony.
Crassness.
Whoa, Brandy. Hubba, hubba.
Oh, get me hot.
William Donahue, president of the Catholic League, led the charge to get Opie and Anthony off the air.
You know, there are some people in our society, I guess they get their jollies by saying, let's keep pushing the envelope. Asshole! You know what?
Asshole!
Our society needs borders. It needs parameters.
On the other hand, Jeffrey Brown, professor of pop culture at Bowling Green State University, says it is healthy to push the envelope.
It's not the end of Western civilization as we know it. Things are always shifting. Yesterday's taboo is today's norm. But those boundaries have to be tested every now and then to be reestablished and to be moved.
Yeah. He points out that in the late 1960s, when Star Trek's Captain Kirk kissed Lieutenant Uhura, it caused a stir. Today, interracial romance is widely accepted. But the things we hear and see in the media now go quite a bit further.
Gorgeous breasts. I can't take my eyes off your body.
How you?
The debate today is whether the firing of Opie and Anthony will mark some sort of turning point.
Maybe some people in our society who are at the top have realized that even when there are bucks to be made, there's a price to be paid in terms of the cultural degradation that we do not want to be associated with anymore.
Asshole!
Maybe, but these shock jocks have been fired before after falsely reporting that the mayor of Boston was dead. After all the attention they're getting now, including a rally in their support this afternoon, industry insiders say Opie and Anthony should have no problem finding a new job once again. Dan Harris, ABC News.
Well, the guy was right. We had no problem finding a job. It just took
2 years later.
Well, no, we had the job ready to go. We had people ready to hire us immediately, but, Infinity held us to the stupid contract. So the guy was right.
At least we got a job quicker than you got a dresser.
So that was a
cacophony of bullshit.
That was a kind of a positive report.
Was it?
Open-minded report.
Dude, back when that was happening, you were looking for anything to feel good about, like, oh, okay, like anything that would look like it was going to change the tide.
Oh, I know. Yeah, when he said they shouldn't have a problem finding another job, I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't. He said it on the news. It's got to be true.
It was true. Infinity knew that. That's why they held us to our contract.
Yeah.
They were so paranoid that we were going to go across the street and compete directly with Howard on commercial radio.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they sat us for over 2 years.
2 years.
And paid us a lot of money.
I like
just
that
to keep
one
us
guy.
out of Howard's hair.
What was that one guy saying about, things you got to have somebody out there to push the envelope because things change, ideas change over time. What was taboo at one time isn't taboo. Who would think, in the climate now that sex in a church would have been a bad thing? Because it's so acceptable now in this day and age because things have changed so much over the past 2 years. What the hell was he babbling about?
Yeah.
Like we'd ever fall into the category of, well, that was taboo then, but now it's just completely acceptable. I don't think so.
Language-wise, though, look what you can say on the air now that you couldn't say back then.
What?
Because it's satellite.
Well, you can say fuck.
Yeah, satellite.
Let's not abuse it, though.
That's true.
Let's all calm down.
That's easy.
Less cursing?
Language. This is still my home.
All right, let's take a break.
All right.
Remember King and Barber?
Of course.
They did some songs for us in L.A. They're Tykes friends.
Yeah.